Hi, Sabine Stovall with the Wealth Planning Company. You are watching Sabine Has Something to Say. So today I want to talk about dividends, what they are, why some companies pay them and others don't, and what a company's dividend policy might tell us with regards to their potential for future growth. So a dividend is a payment that is made from a company to its shareholders. So let's say I have a publicly traded company and at the end of the year, we had a great year. We paid our salaries and our benefits and we still have $100 million in profits left over. Well, what are we going to do with that money? Maybe we decide to take it and invest in ourselves. We build a new factory, hire new workers, invest in a new technology. Growth companies tend to do that. Or maybe we take a different approach. Maybe we take all that extra cash and pay it out to the owners of the company, such that everybody who owns a share gets a cash dividend. As an investor, this is awesome. Like I can make money by owning a stock that's not even appreciating in value. You're going to pay me cash in the form of a dividend just for holding it while I'm waiting for it to appreciate. That's a pretty good deal. And it makes a whole lot of sense for investors who are seeking income. Does it make sense for growth-oriented investors as well? So I have pulled up a chart. This is put forth by Ned Davis Research, and it demonstrates the performance of stocks in the S&P 500 by dividend strategy. That blue line on top are the dividend growers or initiators. You see that over time they have outperformed. And then you see that black line, the dividend cutters and eliminators. By far, those were the worst performers. And the dividend growers were able to achieve this result by taking less risk than the S&P 500. Take a look at this chart. Dividend growers take the least amount of risk and offer the highest return historically. How are dividend growers able to outperform? Well, think about it. In my example, where I have this company that had $100 million in profits, if I decide to offer a dividend, the worst thing I can do is cut that dividend. So for me to even be able to offer one, I have to be really sure that not only am I going to have $100 million this year to pay it, but that next year I'll also have $100 million to pay out in a dividend, and the year after that, and the year after that. Because the last thing I want to do is become one of those dividend cutters or eliminators. If I'm going to promise to raise my dividend again next year, then I need to be pretty sure that I'm going to end up with more than $100 million. So by screening solely by dividend policy, I am narrowing the universe of potential investments to only those companies who are not only consistently profitable, but whose profitability is relatively predictable and poised for future growth. Now, some of you might be watching this and you might think, oh, that sounds super easy. I'm just going to buy a bunch of dividend paying companies and I'm going to outperform the S&P 500 while taking less risk and it'll all work out. And I don't need to think any farther than that. Of course, it's not that easy. For a company to be worthy of investment for our clients, we need to look beyond dividend policy and also consider things like earnings per share, cash to debt ratio, payout ratio. If a company is promising a super high dividend, but they're financing that with a lot of debt, then they're not doing you any favors. If you are interested in learning more about whether a dividend paying strategy makes sense in your portfolio, give us a call. We at the Wealth Planning Company work with the most wonderful clients, and whether they are seeking income or growth or both, we're here to help. We would love to hear from you and see if we can add value to your investment portfolio. Sabine Stovall with the Wealth Planning Company. Until next time.